One and all, welcome back to Illustrated by DeForrest, and I'm here to tell you that you could be doing several things at once, but you're not, and you might be leaving money and content on the table. When I draw, I usually have a lot going on, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can get more than just a pretty picture at the end of it. My name is DeForrest, and I will be your host. This episode continues the art process of Odd, a favorite of mine that's about checks notes. Wow, 11 years old now. They grow up so fast, which is what you're literally watching it do in this time lapse. You can find this and more of my works at lifeforever3.com. But before you head there, which is where you can get a free ebook by the way, let's talk about why you can see Odd's process right now and more about the future proofing I did back then. This is how you can get so much more out of just one artwork. So, what do you do when you start drawing? You get your materials, get your references, find a quiet spot where you ignore your family for a while and start making marks on your paper, canvas, or tablet. Hopefully you start with a small sketch in the corner, not even an inch big, and decide what the pose is actually going to be before you start filling out the entire sheet. You stay there long enough, you're patient enough to see your skills through, and there you go. You have your sci-fi character, your industrial blueprint, or your rendition of your friend's face when the paternity results were announced. Glad you made it that far because not a lot of people do, even stopping after step 1. Of drawing, that is. Well, if you've been at this for a while, I'm sure you've got several works in your portfolio or hung up on your walls or on your website, and there they are on full display. Be proud of your gallery in all its glory. But what if you could have a bit more? Now, the advice I'm about to give is more towards digital artists because there's a lot more versatility and opportunity as far as the content you can create. Since these zeros and ones come in many flavors, my process involves collecting as many steps as possible, so I have several different things at the end and several different things I can show off. The steps remain the same, but with a little recording and extra Control S, let me offer you some checkpoints that could benefit both you and your audience in the long run. Starting off with the references, just put them in a folder somewhere. You can name it secret, since those are your most pure images, and I'm sure everyone will respect your privacy. You can use them to show off your inspiration later and maybe even use them for future works. Next, whether you're sketching on paper or in a drawing app, make sure you save all the little thumbnails you make at first and then save all of your rough sketches as separate files or photos. This way you can normalize your process and maybe even the stress of how many times it takes to finally get that pose down the way you want. But for real, you don't have to get it right the first time, alright? Just chill and have fun with this. Be realistic and show your viewers that it takes more than one time if you need to. We're just getting started and you already contain content right off the bat. Now, once you're satisfied with that sketch, let's say you want to do some line art. Put that on a separate layer and once done, save that as a separate file. Behind that, you're going to have your flat color layer and you got some choices here. You can either show it fully saturated with bright hues and have your character purely in flat color, or if you plan to add texture and other shading, you can show that dark, desaturated color layer as a preview. Don't know what I'm talking about? Check out this episode right here where I break down digital color so you can find out why this step is so important. While you're at it, you can create a palette of used colors as you go and put their hex values along with them. Afterward, just continue to take screenshots as you're rendering your artwork. For characters, this can involve separate layers like doing the skin, since it's the undermost layer, then the clothing on top, and then hair. If your character has accessories like weapons or just boring everyday stuff, get your process for each of those. For backgrounds and landscapes, you can always start with the sky, demonstrating which colors you use. Note the shapes of buildings or the objects your character is holding, and then how you add details to those. You can create individual tutorials and guidelines from all of this, not just how you made this one artwork. Talk about how you made that mountain. Talk about that hairstyle. And just like with Odd here, I've used my examples several times over the years, teaching several generations of my ever-evolving art style even when doing something wrong. But the biggest thing you can do is literally record yourself drawing. I do this almost every time I draw anything digitally, even when I know it's never going to see the light of day. With the world obsessed with video and how we can get it in front of every single person's eyes every single second of the day, screen recording is probably the most powerful tool you'll have for showing off your work. Whether it's tutorials, time lapses, or if you just need to go back and remember how the heck did I draw what that hand was doing that one weird time. I've personally learned so much from watching other artists time lapse, and also, they're just relaxing to look at. Like, I would have a few of these blasting all day while I'm working on other stuff. A great distraction or motivator or anything that was going on in my day. This is how you get to see the techniques we talk about in action. Once again, you can keep them to yourself or make them public, but I highly recommend downloading some sort of screen recorder. I personally use Open Broadcast software, or OBS. Also, if you decide to live stream, make sure you're recording that as well. You can crop certain parts of the video you need and add that to your collection. That will also help you keep a record of what you say in explanation so you can remember how to tell someone else your technique later. If you plan on creating online courses or other materials, you've got that down as well. So, still feel like just drawing and only getting a drawing? This has been a small bit of advice from your boy, the 3 of Spades himself, and be sure to come back on the 3rd of every month for new episodes and more of these great tips and tricks. I see that you all enjoyed the DeForrest Q&A shorts, so please keep checking them out and share with your friends. And your enemies. I'll take them off your hands. You can also help both of us out by subscribing to the channel to get notified with new drops. And I thank you very much for listening. Move the media. Peace.